meditate on this. The subconscious mind is like a black hole. It's a vacuum. It pulls in everything that crosses its path. The portals or gateways to the subconscious mind exist on the human body, in the human body. Some of them are called ears, some of them are called eyes. And you receive certain signals and things and messages, etc., through these senses, through these tools for senses, sight, hearing, etc. But no matter what you do, no matter what you put in front of your ears, no matter what you put in front of your eyes, just understand that the subconscious mind is going to receive that, and it's going to be embedded within you in perpetuity. It's going to be with you forever. And the people in power know this. The ruling class know this, and they do a damn good job of putting things in there that are not going to lead to quality of thought. It's important that you take control of this and try to embed things with high quality of thought into your subconscious mind, so that when they come back to the surface, when they come back, they pop out on the other side, they're fruitful. The things that are good for you, things that lead to quality of thought. So try to embed good things in your subconscious mind. Now that we know we have to program the subconscious mind, do that consciously, the next question becomes, with what? I believe we need to start with music. Music is very natural. Everybody loves music. They're even treating dementia with music, because music can take you to the past, bring you to memories, the vibe. Everything is just seems to come into focus clearly. It's easily visualized when you put music and have a soundtrack to your life. And so what type of music do we listen to? You know, it's part of our daily ritual. It's part of our daily dealings in programming the subconscious mind. The type of music we listen to is very important. And think about quality of thought. Is your music going to nurture the idea of quality of thought? Or is it ratchet? Is it supremely ghetto? Is it trash? Or is it breathing life into you? Right? It's the difference between listening to, you know, something that's promoting death as to something that's promoting life. Looking at some of the neurological effects that happen when you listen to certain types of music, nourishing the brain with that type of music. The TV shows you watch, the movies you watch. What type of shows do you watch, and how are you inspired by them? What are the images that are being implanted in your subconscious mind from the movies and TV and the media that you watch, from the things you watch on YouTube, etc., etc. If you look at one of those controversial stories about TikTok, I said that Chinese people, or the Chinese Communist Party, whatever, has a different algorithm than the one for the Western nations. The one in the Western nations, the kids are watching videos that go viral, doing pranks and all types of silly stuff. And China's algorithm is showing kids completing puzzles and doing math. These are the things they're promoting because they understand the programming of the subconscious mind is very important for the future of your people and where they're going. So with that same concept in mind, you know, what type of media are you always being influenced by? What type of media do you constantly force yourself to be influenced by? You know, what if we saw images of love all the time instead of images of destruction, war, etc., etc.?
What type of media is Hotep Jesus influenced by?
I like the old stuff. I like the classics. Mostly written work, literature. That's the type of stuff I listen to. I listen to a lot of lectures. You know, one of my favorite lecturers is John Henry Clark, Dr. Kaba Kamene. Those are like two of my faves. I like listening to scholarly work, scholarly teachers. I go to bed to to chess videos, but I also need some gangster in my life. You know, I'm not perfect, but I need some, you know, I need some cartel gang member, you know, type programming. This is, you know, that's the stuff I happen to like. You know, I like violent movies. I like heists. I like heist movies, like The Italian Job and Ocean's 11 and, you know, those types of things. I like military movies. Like, I thought the new Top Gun was amazing. But I also try to be conscious of what I'm seeing, and so, you know, what's clear is we're going to come across some content that is not going to nurture quality or high quality of thought. So what we have to do is we have to wrap this stuff with labels. So what you can do is when an image appears before your subconscious mind, what we can do is we can frame it. So when it gets embedded and it gets stored within your mental hard drive, it's filed in a folder, you know, marked bad, marked good, marked to question, marked, you know, you can label these things. So sometimes when things come into our subconscious mind, we don't frame it, we don't put a label on it. I think we have to say, okay, if I'm watching a movie and they're murdering people, let's say for instance, as we're watching this, we got to label that bad. This is bad. This is no bueno, right? And even some labels that your personal opinion might weigh in on, and how you manage this stuff logically. So even though everything is going to be received by your subconscious mind, and some things you may enjoy, some pieces of content you may enjoy, it's very important to frame that stuff and label that stuff. So when it gets into your subconscious mind, your subconscious mind knows, okay, this is this and this is that. So it knows clear difference. It's not just sitting there to be sprouted later on in the wrong manner or intent. What is your receptivity? Are you receiving the signals, or are you only transmitting them? You have to tune your inner radio to receive messages, not only send them. Sometimes we get caught up with our conscious mind. Our conscious mind is constantly sending signals out to the universe, to God, to friends, family, etc., etc. But sometimes you have to reset yourself and come back to zero and just say, I'm not intending to send any messages, I'm intending to receive them. I call it no mind. I've spoken about this in the past. I want to open up the mind, enter a state of receptivity, to receive the signals, to be imbued by God. Messages, prescient visualizations, to be omniscient. All these things are made possible by entering a receptive state, by dismissing the world and all of its physicalness, dismissing the world and all of its 3D-ness, dismissing the matrix, forgetting you are of this physical dimension. Dismissing all of that, obviously easier said than done, but moving away from all of these things, dismissing them from their mind. And the easiest way to do that is to actually distract yourself. You have to distract yourself with the senses. It's much easier to enter a state of receptivity when you're out here and you have the breeze blowing against your skin. That's easy to meditate on. When you have the waves you can look at, the seagulls passing over your head, the sun and the way the sun shimmers off the surface of the water, the clouds, the people, all these things, if you allow them to, will open you up to receptivity. They make you receptive. In order to turn off your brain, you got to turn on your 5 senses. Or when I say brain, I mean that conscious mind sending signals and trying to enter a state of receiving the signals. For example, you can't eat and think at the same time. You're either tasting your food or you're thinking. You can't do both at the same time. You can do intervals. You can think and then taste, think and then taste. But while you're tasting your food, the only thing you're thinking about is, this food tastes good. You can only think about the food. So sometimes I like to hijack my subconscious when I don't.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How am I supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in. How'd you get that done so quick?
They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there. You understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
He's not tapped in.
I seem to have misplaced my airplane. Has anybody seen it? The Grift Report starts now.
2, 1, boom. Hotep Jesus.
Of all the Jesuses I know, he's the Hotepiest. Social scientist and YouTube host, Hotep Jesus.
How the fuck do you get a name like Hotep Jesus?
The one and only Hotep Jesus.
Ryan Sharp, better known to the world as Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Somebody said, what do you think you are, some kind of Hotep Jesus?
Ooh,
And I
that's
was
good.
just like, ooh, that's sexy. Yes, I do think I'm Hotep Jesus.
What's up, people? Welcome. Happy Monday. It's the Grift Report. I'm your host, Hotep Jesus, the Grift God.
Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
What's up, people? Shout out to the chatters in the chat. Wilmar, what up, bro? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Happy Monday and all of that. What are the grifters grifting today? I don't even know what the grifters are grifting. I guess the airplane story. I'm not really looking into that shit. I gotta be honest with you. I'm not looking into any airplane story about missing airplanes. I guess the Air Force or something connected the damn thing to Chat GPT, and now the plane has a mind of its own. It's flying around on autopilot somewhere. The pilot has ejected, and the conspiracy theorists are running wild. Our taxpayer dollars at work. Our tax dollars at work. Anyway, let's get to the Grift Report. Let's shake up the bag. Shake up the bag. Shake up the bag. Let's see what's in here. Hold on. So I just tweeted this out earlier. OpenAI and Google are racing to release a multimodal LLM. And basically what that is, it basically can look at images and text and understand what their meaning is. And Goldstein response says that's going to be a great way to frame people over social media posts in a court of law. If the machines say it's terrorism, that's what it's going to be. Yeah, I mean, a lot of, this can really make your kufi go crazy if you allow it to. However, me, being the tech geek that I am, I can't wait. I need ChatGPT to make images and videos. Later today, I'll be setting up I wouldn't say fully autonomous. I would say semi-autonomous Twitter bot that you can talk to and it'll reply to. I think I'll be able to pull this off today. I'm going to do some more research, so look out for that announcement coming soon. And yeah, so that's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to announce that. All right, let's go back in the biggie bag. Let's go in the biggie bag. The Grift Report bag. What's in here? Climate activists all over the country shut down entrances to the New York Federal Reserve. I just hate how climate activists just seem to be a little bit more on point than the rest of the people because they chose the right spot. I wish it wasn't for climate change initiatives because I think climate change is a hoax. I don't know, maybe. I haven't researched it, so I couldn't say definitively one way or another, but the climate changes. That's all I know. The climate changes naturally. So, and I do believe we are ruining the earth. I do believe there is pollution, which brings us to our first clip of the day. I want you guys to listen to this. This is This is something that I've said to people. Maybe it'll register because it comes from a white face and won't seem so biased. But this guy is saying exactly what I've been thinking about for a really, 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 really long time. Let me make sure you guys can see this. I want you to see it in full. Let's go.
You're good at making things, but you've never really figured out how to make things without also harming people. You've never really figured out how.
Did you hear that? You never figured out how to make things without harming people. This is what I was saying before, and people talked about the lack of technological advances by Native people. I believe wholeheartedly that they did a cost-benefit analysis, and they said, I'm not going to develop X because it could ruin the earth. It could ruin the environment. It could ruin our chances of survival as a species. I think many Native cultures thought about that. And then, well, let's just let them finish.
To be humane and decent in the process of production. But according to your value system, it's worth it. The untold human suffering behind your technological achievements and advancement is all worth it to you, for the sake of fancy devices and for the sake of entirely unnecessary conveniences and comforts. Conveniences and comforts, which we already know are actually contributing to the deterioration of people's skills, of their attention spans, of their memory, of their intelligence, even their health and their character. So what's it all for? What are you bragging about? Well, the defense will be, this is the classic one. Everyone wants to immigrate to the West. If it was so bad, why would everyone want to come to the West? Why would they want to leave if it wasn't better than in their home countries? Yeah, sure. You burned and looted all the houses on the block, and now everybody wants to come and stay at your house. It's really a mystery, isn't it? It must be because your house is so nice. Look, in order to make your countries prosperous and comfortable, you had to make living conditions everywhere else unlivable. So people wanting to move to the West to escape the deprivation and violence caused by the West is not a very good defense of Western civilization. It turns out that pretty much every defense that you give actually just turns out to be another indictment against you. But look, there's no reason to be defensive. I'm not calling you names. I'm not defaming you. I'm not even against you, really. You have been devastatingly misled about your civilization, and your civilization has, by design, not equipped you to ever rehabilitate it. You have had cognitive dissonance inflicted on you since childhood. It's not your fault. You've been raised since childhood in a fog of deception and lies and duplicity that you can't discern. You're like someone who's married to a spouse who constantly lies to them and gaslights them and emotionally and psychologically abuses them. And everyone can see it but you. But you're so invested in the lies that you can't face the reality that your spouse, in this case your civilization, is not what you thought it was. It's not what you were told it was. And you find out that you're actually married to a monster. I know that's not easy to accept. It's not easy to face.
Well put, sir. Well put. This is the argument I've been making for a really, really long time. Mostly when I was online and I was met with some comments, mostly by, I don't know, I guess we're calling them, neo-Nazis, white nationalists, far right-wing white people. I don't know, whatever term we're using. Let's just say, white nationalists, right? Let's just say white nationalists. White nationalists will take a look at
impoverished nations, specifically in Africa, right? They'll look at the African nations and they go, ha, 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 look at your people, look at your people. And I'm like, you caused that. like that was Western civilization created that. Like that, again, it's an indictment against you and the devastation you created. It wasn't just like that. It took years of colonization to create something like that. Mostly what caused the devastation, though, was economic colonization. Destroyed many nations much worse than anything. I mean, take a look at Libya right now. You look at the stories around Libya. Libya can barely survive a natural disaster, a country that was once had a 0% unemployment rate. In fact, it was illegal to be, if I'm not mistaken, it was illegal to be homeless in Libya because all you had to do is go to the government and they provided one for you. You know, Libya had a ton of resources. So it's just appalling to me when they also use that thing, oh, everybody's leaving and they're coming here. Why are they coming here? And I'm like, well, because the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, Bank of International Settlements, and all these other economic groups have done a poor job, or maybe great, depending on how you want to look at this, of aiding with economic policy through their loan programs. Now, I came to this conclusion looking at the subject of plastic. I always had an issue with plastic things. Still kind of do. But when I was in my We Can Save the World phase, I was looking at plastic. Like, why does this exist? Like, why does this plastic bottle exist? If it's so bad for the earth, why don't we stop making it? And then that's when I ran across biodegradable plastics. Like, why aren't we using that? Why are we using all these chemicals? And then that's when I fell into the story of DuPont, outlawing hemp because, 1,000,001 products can be made from hemp. And there was hemp plastics that were much safer for the environment and all these things. And then we look at the invention of the iPhone, right? One of the greatest, worst inventions ever created. Steve Jobs really did a number on the public. The public was not ready for the smartphone. The smartphone has great invention, completely destroyed our minds. Like he said, completely destroyed our ability to communicate because everything is quick, fast, and in a hurry. These bite-sized videos, text messages. People don't even want phone calls anymore. So they brag about these things and all these things that the West has. And I'm like, but it comes at the cost of somebody else's life. Like, is that something to be proud of? I mean, if you think that causing children to suffer in a foreign nation is worth the cost of having technology, I think you got to check your morality. And many people don't care. And that's why you always have this black nationalist, white nationalist clash, where I tend to lean towards the black nationalist side because where's your morality, right? So the black nationalists say things like white people are genetically predisposed to violence and destroying the earth. And I'm like, I don't believe that's true. But there is a moral argument to be made for these white nationalists in particular, to where they don't give a damn that other lives are lost, mostly because these people have racial hatred for whatever reason that may be. I think just because they probably grew up in a trailer park, and anybody who grew up in a trailer park probably should be upset and mad at the world and seeing other people get an opportunity that they can't or won't achieve. Nothing really stopping them other than communism. So yeah, I just it's the type of thing where I'm like, you really got to check your morality as a person. I have an iPhone. I do. I have one. It's right here. It's my iPhone. I have an iPhone. Right? Am I proud of it? I don't go, yeah, I got an iPhone. Ha ha ha. Fuck those people over in foreign nations. No, I don't. Sometimes I pray for them. Sometimes, when I'm using my phone, I pray for those people. I feel like And the other thing is too, like these climate change people who want to move everything to electric. And I'm like, like all those materials got to come from mines in Africa, and children got to work for it. Nobody really says anything about that, left or right. So really good words from dude here. I think as Americans, we really got to check. We got to check our privilege, as the leftists would say. We got to check our privilege. We got to understand that the privileges afforded to Americans of being in America is at the cost of somebody else's life. And I think I've tweeted something like that before, which is interesting enough. Trying to find it here. But basically what I said is, the cost of the American way of life is somebody else's life. Literally. Everything we got that we're afforded is because of somebody else's life. Just is what it is. All right, let's go back in the bag. I just had to drop that on you, a little deep thought for Monday. But childhood education contributes to our environment, contributes to this, the people who are around, contributes to this idea of Western technological advances and America's great. All this jingoism is what causes this cognitive dissonance and this blind spot to see what we're doing to foreign nations to give us our way of life, our high quality of life. Francis Cress Wilson talks about the cognitive dissonance of the American white man. Yeah, I think because they were the first to be educated by the Rockefellers, therefore they're going to be the most brainwashed. They're going to be the most brainwashed. Just is what it is. And as I said, before they got to the black mind, they got to the white mind. And that's what I believe a lot of Protestant Puritanism, post-Civil War, antebellum South, et cetera, all of that stuff was about getting to the black mind. They understood that black kids weren't going to white institutions. And I've showed you before in the Board of Brown versus the Board of Education. It shows you right there that it was about changing culture. Educating black kids was about making them think like white people, being controlled by the Rockefeller-funded education system. I do have an interesting tweet, though, here. Let me pull this up, which is actually right in line with what I just said. Right here. September 1st, 2019. Put this on the screen. Nope, not that. Right here. The cost of free education is ownership of our mind and its thoughts. I think I'm gonna retweet that. Let's retweet that. Get that another run. The cost of free education is ownership of our minds and its thoughts. When you get that free education, the education's free? No. They want to control your mind. They need that jingoism. They need that. So you support the war overseas. Yeah, everybody hit the like button. Sounds commie to you? Yeah, it does sound commie. The world got communication at a huge scale, but lost its humanity at a cost. If we didn't do it, some other country would. It seems like the rationale. That's not rational. You didn't learn your lesson. Country X It doesn't have to be America. Country X. Could be any country. The fact that it's happening, those people should not be proud when other people are losing as a result. It's an argument of morality and ethics. That's what it is. You can swap the countries and say, oh, if we didn't do it, somebody else would. Yeah, I mean, sure, you can do that, but that's like, what are you saying? You're not saying anything. You just creating a circular argument. I want better for us, that's all. I just want better thinking for us. I just want better thinking. You don't have to throw away your iPhones and start, a huge revolution. I just want better thinking. Let's get to the race grift. So the race grift goes both ways, right? So here we have Eva, self-proclaimed shield maiden of the far right, right? So this is one of those, white supremacist accounts or something like the white nationalist accounts, which is cool or whatever. It's basically, I don't know, I guess we can call it a victim account, because that's really what these people do. They just like complain, and it's like the opposite of Black Lives Matter. When Black Lives Matter was complaining about everything, everybody called them a victim. Then everybody saw the power or lack of power in being a victim and then chose to be a victim. Kind of really weird. So unfortunately, this gentleman lost his life. He was hit and run over while cycling. And then she basically says he was run over by two black guys. She says he was run over by two black guys. I don't even know if this count as a real person, to be honest with you. Maybe she is, maybe she's not. I don't know. Could be AI generated. So this account says, I certainly don't agree with this behavior, but you can clearly see the driver is white. She says multiple outlets have reported they're black. From what I can tell and hear in the video, they're definitely not white. Listen to what they're saying too. And it says here, national file, black Las Vegas teenager steal a car, then rampage around the city, smashing into other vehicles before murdering a bicyclist. This person says they're Hispanic. The school they attend is 95% Hispanic. Not that it matters, evil is evil. If they were black, their faces would be plastered over mainstream media and Fox News. I don't think that's true. The fact that they're hiding their identities under the guise of being a minor says a lot. I don't even know why you record yourself. That kind of is strange. So this is one side of the race grift, right? Where and then they have the pictures here of the gentleman. I don't know if they black, Hispanic, or what. However, what they're trying to say is that because the individuals are using the type of language that they're using, right? They're dropping an N-bomb, right? They're dropping an N-bomb left and right. And then somebody in the thread posted a video of a bunch of Asian people fighting, and they dropping the N-bomb left and right. And what I gotta tell you is the N-bomb is now ubiquitous. Everybody's using the N-bomb, at least the youth is, right? The youth is definitely using it. I remember I was walking down the street, probably pick up some food. I think this was at the falafel spot. So it was an Indian boy and a white boy and another Indian boy, another white boy. There's no black people around, just me. And I walked past and they all calling each other nigga. And I was just like, damn, white folks call each other nigga now? And then the Indians call each other nigga. And, I wasn't going to stop and be like, hey, don't use those words. I kind of look at life as a case study. So I was just like, wow, this is rather interesting. So moral of the story is you can't just say somebody's black because people are dropping an N-bomb. But I have a feeling when this story comes out, this person might be wrong. I think that these people might be Hispanic. And what if they're, illegal, or their mama was illegal? I don't know. But anyway, let's continue on with the race grift. Now, the race grift has brought us to this news article. BU Center for Antiracist Research lays off staff members. Move comes amid shift in fellowship model, university says. Let's just hop right to the meat of it. Pause. Says the center, which opened at BU in the summer of 2020 amid nationwide protests, So basically, the protests were popping and everybody wanted to cash in. That's basically what happened here. And they're like, oh, cool, we can use this to get rid of money and funnel money and do all sorts of money tricks. I don't want to accuse anybody of money laundering, but sure is the perfect guise for it. It says attempts to reach Kendi for comment, unsuccessful. So this is Ibram X Kendi operation. Anytime somebody puts X in their name, you know they're definitely a race grifter. Like, you know, that was some Malcolm X shit. Now you want to put X in your name, and then, yeah, that's some grifter shit right there. Get your own identity. Anyway, it says current and former employees. Let me make sure you can see this. Hold on. Okay, good. It says current and former employees in the center who spoke with the Globe were critical of Kendi's management and questioned how a department that has received millions of dollars in donations and grants since its launch can now be in position where it is cutting staff. So it received millions of dollars. We're going to get back to that in just a moment. Miss Piston here says, Mr. Piston says there are a number of ways it got to this point. It started very early on, when the university decided to create a center that rested in the hands of one human being, an individual given millions of dollars and so much authority. Typical communist dictator stuff. And you'll see examples of communism as we work our way through this article. But one man, one budget, millions of dollars. Seda Grundy, a BU associate professor of sociology and African American and Black diaspora studies, was named assistant director of narrative for the center in November 2020, but she said she left less than a year later. So less than a year later, she left. She came work with Ibram X and was like, y'all, I'm out. Okay, so let's see why. She said the center lacked structure and she was forced to work hours beyond what was reasonable for the pay she received. So there it is. There's your overworking of laborers, classic communism. You know, communism will come in and say, I remember certain accounts of communism, whether it be China or Russia or Germany, where it was about like, you know, the labor workers, right? And, you know, we got to set set a certain amount of hours because we're being overworked. And then people started saying when communism came in, they worked more under communism than they did under capitalism or feudalism. So there you have that. And here you have the same thing. He's overworking these people. Now, for what? Like what could possibly be going on at this place that you can't get work done within the hours you have allotted for time? What could you possibly be doing that's so important? Nothing. It became very clear after I started that this was exploitative, and other faculty experienced the same and worse. So when he says exploitative, I think what they're saying is exploiting the workers, right? Taking advantage of them, right? So let's go to the money. It says the announcement was followed by a flood of donations to BU to support the center and Kendi's work, including a $1.5 million 3-year gift from the biotech company Vertex and a $10 million donation from Twitter founder Jack Dorsey later that summer. A few months later, the Rockefeller Foundation donated $1.5 million over 2 years to help fund the center's COVID-19 racial data tracker. So the Rockefeller Foundation comes in and says, look, we're going to give you $1.5 million, put together a staff to track the COVID-19 racial data. All right? Let's take a look at that shitty ass project. COVID-19 has affected people of color the most. All right, so this is basically a huge propaganda campaign, which I doubt is going to address the idea of comorbidities. Right? It says here the project began with Ibram X Kendi, founding director of the center. Right? I got job openings after they laid people off. Let's go to their racial data dashboard. Here it is. Here's the latest race, ethnicity data. So this is what they paid them. $1.5 million to do this shit. $1.5 million to do this. to tell us how many people are dying, allegedly, while ignoring comorbidities. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I could have put that project together for $100,000. But that's not what upset me. Because I expect Rockefeller to come and fund these people. Rockefeller money is everywhere. Right? I expect the Rockefeller Foundation to control black thought. Right? Because that's what this is. This is what some people refuse to call white supremacy, right? So Ibram X. Kendi will tell you about white supremacy and how white supremacy is bad. Meanwhile, one of the greatest white supremacists to ever exist has given him $1.5 million to fund data on one of the greatest white supremacist tricks ever, C-19. And he takes the money. Takes the money, right? Jack Dorsey is the one I'm really mad at. $10 million? Jack, you gave him $10 million, bro? And you ain't give Hotep Nation a penny? Shame on you. Shame on Jack Dorsey.
This is a sick Negro.
Shame on him. $10 million. So, if we add that up, what do we get? $13 million? So we got $13 million for a project that started in 2020. $13 million. And we get failure. Utter failure. We get job layoffs. A lot of the job layoffs have to do with overhiring, hiring too quickly, or just lack of fund management. $13 million this race grifter got for his project, just to be controlled by white leftists. Because he didn't do this at a black university. He did this at Boston University. One of the most racist white liberal cities in the country. They're like conservative Democrats. Boston University. This is like, if you want to talk about racism, go to Boston. You want to see racism? You know, people try to say, oh, you got to go to a red state. Boston got some red districts. That's got some real racism. They got some blue districts. They got some real racism. Boston is one of the most racist places on the planet. On the planet. And that says a lot. So he chooses to go work in one of the most racist places. Now, some people would say, oh, well, that makes sense, because if he's fighting race, wouldn't he start right where it's the worst? No, that obviously means he's going to be sabotaged at every step and controlled at Boston University. You should have did this out of an HBCU if you were going to do it. And I wouldn't trust that either, because HBCUs are white liberal. Many, not all, many are controlled by white liberal opposition. But again, complete and utter failure, $13 million. We know the millions of dollars that went missing because of BLM. And here we are saying it again, the race grift. Absolutely easy money. The race grift for black people is easy money. If you are, now the thing is, there's two types of people, right? There are people who believe that, yeah, I'm fighting the power. And then there are the people like, yeah, I'm just here for the money. And many of the people are there just for the money. But I think they're outnumbered by people that actually care. And those people are being misled by communist, socialist propaganda, liberal propaganda, race propaganda, designed to divide the nation and not unite the nation. 13 million. I would love to, actually, let's go and look at this shit. Let's go look and see what they do. Let's see. Let's hit the research tab. What are they? So they're researching. What are they researching? I don't want to meet the team because I don't give a damn about the team. Actually, let's meet the team. Let's see how many white people is on this team. Oh, looks like that page might not be here anymore. So much for that. Anti-Racist Tech Initiative. I'm in tech. Let's see what this is about. What is ATI? Anti-Tech Initiative, working to make tech anti-racist. Your iPhone is racist. By gathering scientific evidence for transformational anti-racist practices and policies, we facilitate unprecedented partnerships between anti-racist researchers and tech, develop cutting-edge research to create radical change. How? Okay, how? Here it is. Here's the how. Technology is all around us, influencing our daily life. We have an opportunity to imagine an anti-racist world starting. That doesn't answer how. Where was the how? Where is the how? Oh, this is the why. Okay, where's the how? Where's the how? How are you going to destroy the boogeyman of racism? And see, this is why I say this feels like money laundering to me, because you can't eradicate racism. It's just not something you can do. It's not. It's a money pit. Racism's going to exist. It's a constant. So trying to fight racism actually creates more racism, which creates a need for them to have their programs, which keeps the money flowing. Anti-racist programs create more racism. Anti-racist programs create more racism.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Just facts. Let's see. Co-create research agendas. So basically research. Basically sitting on Google all day, right? Looking for shit to be mad at, right? COVID stories, research. All right, what else they got? So that's the research. What's the policy? What are we doing with policy? The mission policy always identify racist policies. Okay, so they just want to find, all right, so they sit around all day and they find racist shit. What's the narrative? All right, so basically, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. This is a huge money pit. It looks on the surface looks like a money laundering scam. They don't actually do any work, and as I said, it's very exploitative. A former employee said, "But like, what are they doing? Like, just strengthen anti-racist efforts across the country by facilitating collaboration and shared learning across sectors." That's a word salad. Just a word salad. So, again, money laundering scheme, it looks like on the surface. Ibram X keeps his relevancy, still keeps his job, and the money is probably going to keep pouring in. I think some of the layoffs might have something to do with the fact they don't need niggas right now. Niggas is out. Is race even going to be a question? Is it even going to be on the ballot this year? I don't even think race is going to be on the ballot this year. I think Republicans and Democrats have given up on black people. We got to wait and see, though, because part of the grift is always the police killed the black man. So we got to wait and see who dies and makes the news, unfortunately. Let's go to our next story. Goldstein put this on my desk. Chicago Mayor Johnson moves towards city-run grocery stores. Hold on, let me check the chat. I know y'all probably saying something funny in here. We call Massachusetts Taxachusetts. Oh my God. You still over $250? That's a felony in Massachusetts? Yeesh. Massachusetts also has a real low crime and voted some of the safest places to live. Okay. Just teach people how to code, says Cliff. Right. Like, how hard is this? Exactly. Like, give people skills. Like, ATI sounds like a disease. Boston is racist. San Francisco. Patrice O'Neill. Oh man, what a genius! What a genius, Patrice O'Neill.
Hotep.
Bet I had a roommate from there. Dosed me with LSD once. Wow. Black men are like seeds. Plant one in the ground and grow a money tree. It's lucrative. Oh my God, David Murdoch. Yay. Seems like the grant period's ended and it's time to vacation. Yeah. Steph want to know if they hiring. What up, Gazgano? What up, Emmanuel Presley? Let me check on my rumblers. Tanai, what up, Tanai? They shot a pregnant black woman in the parking lot out here. That's sad. That's fucking sad. Send me that link, Tari. I want to check that out. I told you, Ohio's a different world, yo. Like the war on drugs, all a grift. Yeah, absolutely. It says like Gulag Archipelago. One huge communist grift. Yeah. All right, let's go back. So check this out. We got communism in the United States like front and center. So city-run grocery stores. This is straight up in Soviet Union type shit. So right here it says the government is not going to run these stores at a profit when actual businesses could not do so. Instead, it is likely to supply food at a higher cost for taxpayers in the red. So I just want to tackle this. I will probably come back to tax in a minute, but I just want to tackle this first line here about profit. That's the issue when the government runs things, is nobody really cares about a profit, because if the government run store is in the red, they'll just print more money, right? They'll just get some more money and just send more money, and the taxpayers will fit the bill. There you go. See, the taxpayers are in the conversation just like that. And we talked about that on the Saturday stream, right? T-bonds, et cetera, et cetera. So, basically, the macroeconomic effects, or micro, I guess, in this situation, since it's just Chicago and the local vicinity of this government-run store, is basically it's going to destroy small business, right? Because government's going to undercut, and people are going to go to these places. I will say also that the quality will probably be lower. The quality all around, the quality of customer support, the quality of the product, service, all of it is going to be run very poorly, because there is no incentive to run a good business. In order to have incentive to run good business, you need to make money. You need to fire people to make more money. You need to hire people to make more money. When a government runs a business, there's no quotas. Like, what's the quota? It's just, hey, make sure we supply this need for the poor so they have some place to get food. And God knows what kind of food they're actually going to put on the shelf. And like I said, it's probably going to be low quality. But what this actually is going to do is going to destroy the local economy. Destroy it. It's going to put small business out of business. Those grocery stores that did exist are going to have to compete with the government. So there's going to be a disaster in the making. Disaster. They're going to have to shut these stores down in like within a year. If they run these stores anything longer than a year, just turn Chicago into Soviet light. The whole place is going to have to be. Chicago might be one of those places where we first get the National Guard as a police force. There's going to be a National Guard. It's going to be, like a pilot program for communism in America. That's pretty much the best way to put this. And it said, what is striking is that Johnson's office said the grocery stores would be funded with the help of the Biden administration as well as state funds. So state funds, Biden admin, we're all paying for this dumbass pilot, this dumbass project, this dumbass experiment. And then here we have a quote from the great late Milton Friedman. If you put the government, the federal government, in charge of the Sahara Desert, in 5 years, there'd be a shortage of sand. It's true. It's just true. And I mean, we can definitely. Well, let's read this joke here. This is Soviet Union joke here. It says, 2 men are waiting in a line to buy vodka. An hour goes by, then 2, and the line barely moves. Everyone is in a terrible mood. Finally, one of them can't take it any longer. This is it. I'm sick of this kind of life. Everywhere there are lines. You cannot buy anything, and the store shelves are empty. I've had enough. I'm going to the Kremlin right now to assassinate him. The man returns after 2 hours, still angry, and says, to hell with it. At the Kremlin, the line to assassinate Gorbachev is longer than this one. The inefficiency of government. So what makes an economy efficient? The thing that makes an economy efficient is competition. And then the consumer ends up winning in the end. 1, through lower prices. 2, through higher quality. of product, and 3, higher quality of customer service. And this is in studies done by Saul and Walter Williams. They talk about this stuff. So I don't have to go into in depth. Go study up on your Walter Williams. Got plenty of videos online. Matter of fact, let me find a good Walter Williams. Let me not leave you hanging. I'm gonna give you some homework today. Hold on. He's got one at I think ironically, is it Boston College? Let me see here. Hold on. Let me see. American Contempt for Liberty. How much can we blame on slavery? Good intentions. Okay, here's one. This is at, Villanova University. That's what this one is. I suggest watching this one right here. The legitimate role of government in free society. This one is 11 years old.
We're fortunate enough to become.
This is a really, really good lecture. I suggest watching that one. As you can see from the progress bar, I watched that one. Walter Williams on the Confederate flag. I got to go back and watch that one. Walter Williams. This is a different Walter Williams. This is not this is Walter E. Williams we're talking about here. So yeah, I suggest watching Walter Williams, The Legitimate Role of Government in Free Society. Really, really interesting talk. And if you haven't watched that, then you really have no idea anything about economics until you watch that. And I'm just saying that to promote the video because you can understand economics without that. But I think that's a good place for many people to start. Absolute great place for many people to start their studies. Go watch that. That's your homework. It's about an hour long. You know, you got to ride. You got to take a ride somewhere, road trip, you know, on the way to work, whatever it is. Go listen to that. Really, really good work. All right, let's go back in the bag. What else I got in this biggie bag? Oh, this shit. Look at this. And then we're going to get into some CBD stuff. You know, we got to talk about some CBDCs. Got a brief update on that. So this video, right? This video is going viral, right? And this is hold on. Let me hold on a second. Let me see if I can find a clip of the video. Cause I just want better for people. All right, so boom. Here's this one, right? So remember when I covered this story? Everybody remember when I covered this story right here about the little kid kicking the seat? And I'm like, this ain't real. And people were reacting to this video like as if it's real. Right? This person, she is racist as fuck, easy to see. Like and I'm just sitting there like, yo, like, y'all can't tell. Y'all can tell. Plane ain't even got no windows, somebody said. That's true. But they are making these videos about, you know, mom. This is the latest one, right? Mom comes in the classroom, they got an LGBT flag. And then somebody posted in the chat. Was it under Cassandra's tweet? Let me see if it's under Cassandra's tweet. Somebody posted a link. Here. All right, so here's the video. All right. Here's the video right here. Let me show you my tweet. Let me show you my tweet, because when I saw this next iteration right here, I said, this might be the worst employee orientation training video ever. And that's no easy feat. And some people fell for this. Like this person says, look at the replies. No one read what you said. They think it's real. And I'm like, facepalm. They said it's, and this person says it's staged. I've seen these type of videos. Example. And I'm like, that's my whole point. That is like my entire point, that this is staged. And it's obviously staged. Like, first of all, the acting is terrible. And that's what I was referring to. Have you guys ever had an employee training video? I've had to watch tons of them, especially working in the restaurant industry. And they have some of the worst acting in these training videos for different scenarios. You know, like when you work retail, they got training videos. If a customer, you know, starts to berate you or gets out of line, you know, what do you do, right? So it's the worst acting you ever see. So that's what I was talking about when I said this is an employee training video. I was pointing to the fact this is obviously acting, right? Now, my concern is not that. My concern is dumbassery, right? So Elijah Schaefer, right? He says, this viral video circulating is fake in my opinion. Like, opinion, Elijah? Really? Like, you didn't know that from the first time you saw the first video? From the first time I saw the first video, I wasn't even paying attention to the debacle between the mother and the teacher. Because the black lady, as you see here, she was like, you know, cussing out this girl. This was the first video I saw. This girl here, who comes to school in a bikini, right? So right then and there, I'm like, all right, this got to be fake, because who the fuck makes it into the classroom? You don't make it into your classroom in a bikini. That's just not possible. Security's going to escort you. The principal, somebody's going to see you. It would not take your teacher saying something. You would not make it this far. So that's number one. Number two was just like, no, that's never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. It's not possible, right? And then the back and forth by the teacher. Like, no teacher's really about to go back and forth with you over this shit. So I'm like, I know this shit fake. But the thing that really just had me pissed off was the fact that I was looking at other people in the classroom. Like, these people are like 35 years old. These are not kids. And y'all are passing this shit around like it's real. And I'm like, are y'all part of the PSYOP or are y'all just dumb? So then I see Elijah Schaefer here. He's like making a thread like, just change the teacher, change the angle, students 25 plus, script is a right-wing boomer's wet dream. And the right-wing boomers be falling for this shit. But I'm like, did people really need Elijah Schaefer to just break this down? Like, I thought it was obvious this was fake. But people are so dumb. People are really dumb. They really believe this shit. They really, really believe this shit. And I'm just like, you haven't learned your lesson that anything on the internet, everything on the internet is fake? Like, when you see something on the internet, your first thought should be it's fake. That should be your first thought. Not it's real. The issue is confirmation bias, right? The issue is projection, right? The issue is playing upon people's dreams and wishes. So what they do is they know these boomers are new to the internet. They don't know shit. And basically what they're preying on are their wishes, their hopes, and their dreams. So they're saying, hey, let's stage this. Now, these people, I think the people that are doing this, I think are training videos for socialist types. Anyway, that's another story for another day. I'm not even going to do the research on it because somebody else will do it. But these boomers get off on seeing people pushing back against the LGBTQ agenda. So they don't even, because they're so excited to see it, they don't even see that the video that they're looking at is completely a skit and scripted and a hoax. It's scripted. It's a skit. And they can't tell because their emotions are clouding their judgment. And the people who pass the videos around, many of them know it's fake. And they still pass it around anyway because engagement farming. Just remember my rule. If it's on the internet, it's fake until proven otherwise. You know how they say everybody's innocent until proven guilty? Everything on the internet is fake until proven true. All right? All right, let's get into the CBDC report. We're going to open up phone lines. If you want to get on the phone lines, text HOTEP in your name to 202-596-5631, 202-596-5631. Text HOTEP in your name to 202-596-5631. Let's get into the Syscoin update of the day. CBDC update of the day. We're only going to take a few minutes on this. But if you have not, join our engagement group. The link is in the description box below. You can learn about crypto, but also get paid to crypto. Get paid to crypto. We got an airdrop coming soon. Once the Super DAP app is out, participants will be compensated for their efforts and their time and their work. So you want to get in on that? Get in on that. A Sappington. Link is in the description box below. Don't say I didn't tell you. Now let's go to our CBDC report of the day. I want to start first with this letter. This comes from a name I recognize, but I don't think it's for this. I think I just recognize there's another Ignazio that was in the news. I can't remember who that was, out of Italy. But this guy writes a letter on why America needs a CBDC. And I'm going to just cut to the chase here. It says, my bank outsources money transfers to an outside app. Call it A. My landlady used another, say B. I asked her to kindly register in A, which she did, only to discover that A has daily and monthly limits that do not allow me to pay the rent. Wait till you see the dumb assery. Like people debunk themselves. And if you don't have two brain cells that communicate with each other, you will completely miss this. But he debunks himself, right? So he says, I asked my bank to raise the limit. Not possible, it said. Only A can do it. I called A. Not possible, said. Only the bank can do it. To escape the catch-22, I thought of registering into B myself, only to find out that I could not use it without reconfiguring my phone on my new U.S. phone number at the risk of compromising other phone functionalities. At that point, I was desperate enough to ask whether I could withdraw the cash and walk 200 meters. The neighborhood seemed safe enough. Not possible, I was told. Money laundering regulation prohibits it. This is when I reluctantly thought perhaps a CBDC account would solve this. Eventually, the only way to avoid being kicked out of my home was to do another online transfer from my bank in Europe, this time to the landlady's account. Another 2 days, another small cost, courtesy of the Eurozone. Which I don't understand why he didn't do that in the first place. But anyway, reflecting on this adventure, a truth dawned on me. CBDCs are really needed. Only if your payment system is inefficient and competition and regulation fail to solve the problem. This is most often the case in developing countries, but not always. Right? So I want to pay attention right here where he says regulation fails. Right? Regulation fails. Who caused all of this problem? Who caused the problem? Who set the limits on your bank account? Surely wasn't the bank. Well, technically it was the bank. But technically it's the United States government, depending on how you want to look at this thing. Technically it's the Federal Reserve, but the bank itself is has to follow the government regulations. It has to follow regulation. And he said regulation fails to solve the problem. Well, the problem exists because of regulation. That's what makes him a dumbass. And he says right here, CBDCs are really needed only if your payment system is inefficient and competition and regulation fail to solve the problem. You can't have competition when you have regulation. When you have regulation, it kills competition, right? So regulation is say you have to have a certain amount of money to start a bank. Why? What if I have $1 and say, I'm going to start a bank today and people trust me to hold their money? Maybe I come up with some brain scheme idea of how to secure people's money and they give me their money. I legally couldn't do that because of regulations. So that right there would change the nature of competition. It keeps the little guy out. That's what regulation does. Regulation stops the little guy from making these moves. So this is his argument for CBDC. Not remove regulation. Not remove regulation. Oh, CBDC. Which tells me this guy's a plant. He's an absolute plant. Or at least he just comes off as one. What else happened in the CBDC world? Hold on, let me pull this up on your screen. And then we're going to go to the phone lines. Okay, daily CBDC update. So another Republican, Alex X. Mooney, no relation to Ibram X. Kendi. He reintroduced Bill HR 3712. It's called the Digital Dollar Pilot Prevention Act. And this will receive a markup on 9/20. So in 2 days, they're going to update this. Okay. Then they're amending the Federal Reserve Act, or at least introducing an amendment to the Federal Reserve Act. And HR 5403, if you're in that state, I suggest supporting this. Call your senator, House of Representatives, all of that. Support this, but support these bills. But I think this one is better written than the other bills I saw. A Federal Reserve Bank shall not offer a central bank digital currency or any digital asset that is substantially similar under any other name or label indirectly to an individual through a financial institution or other intermediary. And I think this does a really good job of trying to cover all angles and make sure there's no loopholes for them to create a CBDC. I can't say it's 100% perfect because there's a lot of thinking that has to go into this, because when you're dealing with slicksters and shapeshifters, you got to cover so many angles because they're always going to find a way to slither their policies in. You know, they might couple it with another bill, right? We've seen that happen before where, you know, this bill has money for Ukraine. And it's like, wait, this bill is called Save America Act, and there's $10 billion in it for Ukraine, and then $8 million for Uganda. And it's like, wait, I thought it was the Save America Act. Like, what was going on here? So a lot of action happening in the House. A lot of this stuff is going on at the radar. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's really mentioning this. You can go Google it and you can go check and see what your people are talking about, but they're not paying attention. And you might want to make them pay attention. But HR 3712 and HR 5403, two anti-CBDC bills introduced, or I should say updated, marked up. And hopefully that stuff happens, you know. Hopefully it happens. We'll see how that works. We'll pay attention to those. And then HSBC is working with Hong Kong. They got a CBDC, and they're basically going to test it with students. That's something we didn't see. That's something, that's something I didn't see coming. I didn't think about that. Tested on students and staff at a college. It's a nice place to run a pilot program. This is something I've always said for a while. I said the best place for an entrepreneur is a college. The best place for an entrepreneur is a college. And I always said, you know, if you are a student and you're at college, this is your opportunity to become a millionaire. If you do not become a millionaire before you leave college, you failed college. At least some revenue generating business of some sort, some significant revenue, because all of your resources are right there on the university. Everybody's pretty much stuck in a bubble, right? On a university, everybody's stuck in this place. So it's really easy to advertise and promote to them. That's why drugs are so prominent in these communities, because they're tight-knit communities and people talk and resources get shared. So that's coming to Hong Kong. RIP to Hong Kong. And with that said, we're going to go to the phone lines. Text Hotep in your name to 202-596-5631, 202-596-5631. And I'll be right back after this short, brief commercial break.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How am I supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in.
Call from...
How'd you get that done so
quick? What up?
They think they're gonna be able to budget this.
It's money. That's money.
All right.
You understand?
All right.
You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
Watching the world crumble.
Ah, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Goldstein on the line. What up, Goldstein?
What's going on? Shit. Well, Ibram X Kendi, bro. Ibram X Kendi, that's what's going the fuck on. Listen, it should be pretty apparent by now that everything that happened out of the BLM bullshit, his rise to prominence, the other broad who wrote the fucking white guilt shit, what was her name? Robin something or other, the white lady.
Mm-hmm.
His school and all these other little fucking programs and institutions that was built off the back of the George Floyd psyop, and even before then, all that shit is a money laundering operation.
Yes.
Just like you said. And what they don't really understand is, I mean, listen, I know a trap house when I see one. All right. I know a trap house when I see one, and this Kendi shit like it is purposely set up to collapse under its own weight at some point. Because when it does, all that rubble covers up the fucking laundering evidence. All right? That's what all these shits are. So I'm almost convinced, bro, that the new economy. Listen to what I'm saying right now. All right, the new economy is going to be investigating all these little fucking organizations and shit right now while they're still quote unquote viable, and you will find a treasure trove of shit that you can condemn them with on the internet for Elon bucks and engagement.
Yes.
I'm almost certain of this because we're going from a grievance economy where everybody was like, I'm a victim, please send me money, right? To the opposite end of that, where everyone's like, look at all these criminals, they victimized us, send me money. That's how the shift is happening. It's going from one dumbass extreme to the next.
Yep.
Absolutely goddamn ridiculous. So if you really want to get up on the new economy, if you want to be first in and best dressed in this new budding economy, start investigative journalism. Because all these shits, like I said, were set up to collapse at some point under their own weight. Now, whether or not Kendi knew this, who knows? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. The only way to really know that is to see how viable he remains after this. But whether or not he knew this is irrelevant. It's the people that funded it. They knew that dumbass shit was no way in hell going to be a sustainable investment. Word salads like a motherfucker, circular logic, none of the shit made sense. It sounded snappy, but eventually, like I said, it was going to collapse under its own fucking weight. And those investors know that. So what do? They prop it up. They run a bunch of fucking dope money, quote unquote, dope money, their version of dope, through that bitch as much as they can to wash it. They bring it all back out, and then the shit eventually falls over, and the scandal becomes, oh, it wasn't all-encompassing, or, oh, I couldn't advance, or whatever the fuck's going on now, but it never becomes, damn, you guys ran a whole shitload of fucking money through this bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, sometimes what happens is they'll, you can, enrich your friends, right? So your friend has some sort of consulting company, right? We see this happen in politics all the time, but your friend has a consulting company. So the Rockefeller Foundation or Jack Dorsey, whoever it is, sends money to Ibram X Kendi's project. Then that project turns around and hires somebody's son, daughter, or whatever for services. And this is how they sort of move money around. Because, it can be looked at, like if they send certain money, it could be looked at either as an investment or something that they'd have to pay taxes on because they had that income. But if they can send it to a nonprofit, then it becomes a tax write-off. But then that money can come right back to them. So they can send themselves tax write-off money.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the advantage you get when you know how fucking money works.
Yep. They set up a clever system.
Oh, yeah. Now, as far as these motherfucking dudes who was running people down, I tweeted this like the day that shit happened, when the story broke, and then they first put that footage up there. That ain't nothing but a bunch of Mexicans that listen to too much rap.
Facts.
That's it. I'm out here every day in Arizona, basically Mexico, And motherfucking, I hear this shit every day. You always know the cadence, the tenor, and all that shit. It sounds very familiar. Niggas don't talk like that.
Facts.
Stop it with the old black folks are killing us shit. We gotta cut that out. And I want to fucking close with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of ties into that. Western civilization, bro. Western civilization at its inception had one goddamn job. Because what really put Western civilization on the map wasn't the whole Roman shit and all that per se, the pagan shit. It was the fact that they had an ability to go around the world and disseminate Christianity. Right? That's what put them on the map. Not necessarily because they were supposed to, though. There's a little known verse in that Bible that everybody has heard at least one time or two. Right? And it speaks to a spiritual principle that can go across every religion that you can name, because it's just a spiritual condition where the devil offered Jesus all the kingdoms of the world. And Jesus was like, nah, I'm good. Right? Now, people will see that and be like, oh, this is an actual occurrence. Maybe, maybe not. Who the fuck knows? But what that really is telling you is this. With Jesus being the dude he was, with the message that he had, he didn't want that type of responsibility, because it was basically like offering a person who's already rich a couple $100.
Mm-hmm.
He operated on a spiritual plane. That's where it means something, not on this materialistic physical realm. So having all the kingdoms of the world means nothing unless you can speak to the spirit of a human being.
That's a bar right there.
That's where the fuck they failed. That's where they're failing now. That's where they failed then, because they went around in conquest, taking over every goddamn piece of land, bar, gold, and human commodity that they could in the name of religion, which is a very easy thing to do, because countless religions have followed that path, but none of them have ever been prosperous. They all formulate monstrous, very, very evil empires, every last one of them, because you cannot combine the two. You either speak to the spirit or you speak to the world. That's it. Once you start combining the two, then you start accepting that offer from the devil. And you don't want to do that. You see what is born out of that. Western civilization has done a lot of shit, but at its core, it has always been a very evil, evil plot. All right? It's manipulated people. It's disenfranchised many towards a spiritual walk. It has killed. It has stolen. It has done a lot in the name of advancing what it feels to be the way. This is exactly why Jesus said, nah, I'm good.
Yep.
And they need to consider that going forward. Because look at this abortion shit, right? Instead of being out there speaking to the women who are broken to where they feel this is a good way to have birth control, instead of fixing the condition, what do? They outsource their responsibility to the Supreme Court. And what does that fix? Nothing. Because in some instances, they already understand this to be the case when it comes to guns. What do they tell leftists? Well, you're going to make another law to prevent a criminal who breaks laws? It's not going to work. Well, that's the same shit here. If the spirit is broken and this woman decides, I'm going to go fucking chop up a baby and throw it in the dumpster, because ultimately that's what it is. If the spirit is broken enough for her to go do that, she's going to find a way regardless. Just like they have 1,000,001 guns out there, they have 1,000,001 coat hangers too. So at the end of the day, you're not fixing shit when you decide to legislate morality. What you're doing is you're accepting the devil's offer for all the kingdoms of the world. Knock it off. I'm done on that.
That's the sermon of the day, y'all. I see you and Bryson been going back and forth.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking idiot, man. I'm starting to really have my doubts about that dude. I used to just think he was a guy who was new in the spiritual shit, and so he was just saying shit. But now, as I'm starting to see more and more of what he's saying, I'm starting to think that he's a op. I'm starting to think that they're using him in the same way they used him to advance politics at the beginning of his career. They're using him to advance Christian nationalism at this point in his career. So he's moved on past the message he was initially used for. And again, I don't know if he's conscious of this or not, but I just understand a few things about how operations work. You know, so I don't want to accuse him of being conscious of this. The jury's still out on that. I'm not taking it off the table, but the jury's still out on this.
Well, we're gonna pull up your video here in a second and play it. See what you got to say in response to him.
Yeah, basically the same thing I just did right now. This is the same shit. I mean, it's just ridiculous, bro. I'm sick of this shit. Like, people just, you have a responsibility to your fellow human beings to aid them in what they need. If people actually lived up to that responsibility, you wouldn't need fucking Donald Trump to do it for you. You wouldn't need Supreme Court to do it for you. You'd be out there hitting the pavement. You'd be at the abortion clinics trying to talk them off that motherfucker. How many campaigns do you ever see that actually do that? No, they're too busy out here lobbying for someone who says I can do it for you. Meanwhile, that motherfucker is taking you down through there on the back end. So it's just one of them things where people got to get their head in the game. Living in very perilous times, man.
Yeah, we are. Ain't that the truth?
That's it, though, man. I'm going to go ahead and get to these dogs, though. You have yourself a wonderful rest of the day. Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill. That's Goldstein. Let's go ahead and listen to Goldstein's video. I didn't get a chance to play this earlier.
So, everyone's surprised that Donald Trump's pro-choice, even though he's been pro-choice his whole goddamn public life. All of a sudden now there's outrage, right? That outrage isn't at Donald Trump. I'm going to tell you what that outrage is. That outrage is at your motherfucking selves, all right? Because I'm pretty sure on some level that you all understand that you failed humanity as Christians. Christian conservatives, you failed humanity, you failed this country. You didn't live up to your creed, you didn't live up to your mandate. Not the mandate set to you by public office motherfucking officials and pundits. I'm talking about the mandate that was set to you by God, was to go ye in all the world and preach the gospel. Now, at its core, a person who desires to go out and have frivolous motherfucking sex and just use abortion as birth control, in essence, slaughtering children, that person, I would say, has a deficiency within their soul. And there's not a law that you can make to heal that deficiency. You guys understand this concept quite clearly when it comes to guns, because you're quick to tell a liberal, how are you going to make a law that will prevent a criminal from using a gun when they're a criminal and they break the law, right? You guys understand that concept there. So I want you to understand the concept here and apply it. The only way you fix the abortion problem in this motherfucking world is by going out in the streets and fixing the souls of those broken women who decide to have them. There's not a law you can make that's going to fix the problem, because those same broken souls will just go find a different way to do it. Like the mass shooter. Yeah, guns are available. So are coat hangers. Get your shit together. Get your shit together. Quit trying to fucking legislate heaven down to earth. It's not going to work out well for you.
Quit trying to legislate heaven down to earth. That's a bar.
The book even tells you this.
That's a t-shirt, actually. That's a t-shirt.
Armageddon's coming. No matter who you put in office. But if you keep this dumbass shit up, you all know who you're going to put in office one day. It was written.
It was written. 2 minutes, 19 seconds. Came in right in that end of that limit. Right in the end of that limit. Let's get our next caller in here. Who is this? James. Hotep James. James calling. We got a new caller here. We're going to talk to James. We're going to talk to James. Then we're going to talk to Rudy. Rudy and James calling. I'm going to start sending y'all text messages and shit because y'all be taking too long to fucking respond and shit. I'm texting your ass. You're going to get notification for Hotep Jesus on your phone. Yeah, motherfuckers. It's going to be a two-way conversation now. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Weathered Ham for the $1.99 super chat. I appreciate you. Our lone super chatter today. You are the man. You are the man. What up, J.A.? What do I call you? J.A.? Is that your name? Do I say J.A. or Jaya? How do I say your name?
Call from
Rudy.
What up, HJ? What's going on, brother?
What up, bro? How you, man?
I'm good, man. I just want to call up first, man, apologize to the Hotep Nation for losing my cool the other day, man. Every now and then the beast comes out, man. I apologize to everybody. Second, man, you are absolutely right, man. This dude in Chicago is going to fuck everything up. You can look at the post office. It's a government-ran for-profit business that hasn't turned a profit in 50 fucking years.
Yep.
And Goldstein is absolutely right, man. But he's also a little bit wrong in the sense that there are some Christian groups that go out there and protest, you know, and pray in front of abortion clinics, and then they end up getting federally indicted, man. So it's like they got to understand that. Let them keep indicting you, man. Let them keep persecuting you, man. You can't just stop because, you know, I mean, he's right, man. They got to keep the message up. They got to keep going out there. And you're going to get indicted for it, but I didn't think Jesus walked around talking about, well, I'm going to preach the word until they lock me up and kill me. Then I'll stop. You know what I'm saying? I'll stop before they kill me. So they're going to keep prosecuting you. If you feel that strongly about it, man, you're saving souls, man. Goldstein's absolutely right, man. You got to get out there and put the work in, man. You got to understand that the communists run the government, so they're going to come and indict you.
You know who be saving souls?
The Hotep Nation.
Hotep Jesus? Hotep Jesus?
You betcha. You betcha.
But look, that's all I got today, brother, man. I'm going to let everybody else in. I just really wanted to apologize to everybody for losing my cool the other day, man.
Nah, I appreciate that.
Every now and then the beast comes out, man. I apologize, bro. I've been real good about it for about the last 4 months, man. I ain't snapped out in a long time.
Nah, it's all good, bro, man. We appreciate you. And you are forgiven.
All right. I love y'all, man. Be good. Hotep and build, man.
Hotep and build. Shout out to Rudy. James, Hotep James. James, call in, please. Can James call in, please? James, we're waiting on you, James. Need you to call in if you can. Need you to call in and can. You texted me. And now you got the cold feet. Now you got cold toes. When you gonna call in, James? Who is this? Okay, that was Rudy. That's James. Kev. Let me hear from Kev, man. And real quick, while we wait for the phone calls, just a couple of announcements here. Instacart IPO goes on sale tomorrow. So they're going to be a publicly traded company. I think it's priced in the low 20s. I think somewhere between $23 and $25 that they're going to have that IPO, Instacart. They do have some competition. It's not like this is some sort of proprietary software idea. They do have competition. But they did lock in a deal with Kroger's and another grocery store chain. So that does solidify them as the exclusive partner for specific chains. And I think if they continue along that road of creating these corporate sponsorships directly with, directly with the outlets, then that would bode well for the company. So I would go hard on partnerships and trying to make some of these things exclusive, getting contracts with those people. So Instacart IPO is tomorrow. Also, iOS 17, I think, drops later today. But heads up, do not download iOS 17 right away. Wait. Minimum, you want to wait 48 hours. I'm probably going to wait a week, mostly because you want to see what kind of bugs are in this thing. Is it draining people's battery? There's been, instances where people have updated and then it drains their battery, overheats their phone. So anytime software comes out, don't be the first one to get it. Get the second batch. So, I would wait until at least Sunday before I download this next update. Hey, who we got on the line?
Kevin, what's up? What's up?
Hola, Kevito. What up, bro?
¿Cómo estás, amigo?
Bien. What you got for me today, man?
Yeah. I was on my way to pick my son up from work, but
okay.
I had a disagreement. You said everything on the internet's fake until proven true.
Yeah.
Which I can agree with, but it's a double-edged sword because you have things like WikiLeaks and the laptop from hell that was leaked and the Anthony Weiner laptop that was leaked and all the stuff on the files on those that can semi be proven, but I mean, I can't get into the government documents to prove them.
Yes. Yeah, those things do exist. I can't deny that. However, I don't see how that would cause a disagreement with what I said. And let me just sort of explain my logic. My logic is for somebody who does not want to be fooled, right? Somebody who fails with discernment. Now, discernment happens to be one of my strong suits, but not everybody has great discernment because they haven't been exposed to the internet for a really long time.
Well, a lot of people are brainwashed, I've noticed.
Yeah, well, this is just, for, when these viral videos come out, before you jump to conclusions, what I'm saying is analyze. Assume it's fake. Assume everything's fake. And what that'll do is it'll cause you to actually look into it further. So in the case of WikiLeaks or whatever, if you assume it's fake, it should inspire you to look into it further, right? And that's really what we want. We want people to do some investigation.
Yeah.
So we don't want people to take things at face value, because when you take things at face value, you get caught up in a pandemic. And I think there's a lot more.
I've often wondered how hard it is for them to take the freedom of information papers that they say they have that they release to the internet.
You said what?
I've often wondered how hard it is for them to take the Freedom of Information Act papers that they say they release to the internet.
Oh, the FOI stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the other thing you guys were talking about, remember the penny stocks pump and dumps?
Yeah.
That's what I think a lot of these smaller coins are going to be.
Yeah, there are there's thousands of pump and dumps daily, yeah. Well, I don't say daily, but there's always pump and dumps, yeah. Yeah, that's why we say, stick with people who focus on technology. Syscoin focuses on technology. And then you got to understand, if you're getting into crypto, to make money, that's fine and dandy, but you're missing the whole point of crypto. It's not a thing that was created to make money. It was a thing to free us from the banking institutions.
And last but not least, I don't believe you haven't heard the Nasara Jasara fairy tale from the internet. It goes all the way back to Bill Clinton.
The what?
The Nasara Jasara. Nesara.
Oh, yeah. We was talking about that last week, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe you haven't heard that little fairy tale. I mean, it's a long and pretty nifty trick.
Yeah, I just
true, but there's no way to prove any of it.
Yeah, I just got to white Twitter a couple of years back, so I'm still doing some catching up.
Yeah, it's
They even have a lady claiming that she's the president, and the real president's not really the president, and supposedly she's got military protection and stuff. All kinds of fake weirdo stuff that people actually fall for. How they're going to redo the economy and give everybody free gold that was taken from them when they took all the Americans' gold back in, I don't know, 1965 or whatever. But I'm going to get off there and let you go. Hotep and Bill.
All right, Hotep and Bill, bro.
Oh, there you go.
Shout out to Kevito. Jonah, get ahead, Jonah. Let's talk to Jonah, then we're going to get out of here. I got to go set up my bot. What is this Janet Yellen lady talking about? Janet Yellen has said she sees no signs that the U.S. economy is in a downturn. Well, of course she doesn't. She got a nice cushy job. Why would she see it? Biden's Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen insists Joe Biden wants to make sure that gas prices remain affordable for Americans. Yeah. I'm pleased by what I see in the economy.
Call from
Jonah, what up, man?
Nada. You know, the year that FDR took, that communist FDR took all the gold was 33.
Yeah.
Which means we're just 27 billion away from 33.
Oh yeah, you showed me that. You showed me that dead clock. Yeah. 33.
Yeah.
Yep. They go that number again.
There's some things, especially too, we're going to steal all the gold on 33, right?
Well, the Federal Reserve Act in 1913 and then 33. So you got 13 and 33. Yeah, they're definitely operating off of numerological powers. Yeah.
Anyways, the one I was going to call about, you know, as far as that first thing where the guy was saying we got to blame Western civilization, I don't go that far. You know.
You said what?
Like the guy who was saying that, like all the stuff like Western civilization, all that. Let's be honest. These people are being manipulated way above it. The one I always go to, the one example I go to is
How was he wrong though?
World War. Well, man, it's because they're being manipulated. The people.
Who's being manipulated?
A lot of American citizens, a lot of the citizens of the world over.
That's what he said. He said that. He literally said that. He said cognitive dissonance.
That's not the way I was hearing it, but again, too, you know, if you look at it, it's like it's the same inbred families who, like in World War I, send off how many Europeans to kill each other, right? And they're all inbred cousins.
Well, he's not talking about how things came to be. He's talking about how people respond to it. Western civilization, how people try to cover for it, right? And try to say, oh, we have great technological advances. This is something I've seen that's commonplace amongst many minds, right? Oh, these great technological advances. He's talking about that. He's not talking about how those things came to be.
Well, again, too, you also got to take into consideration how they came to be. It's all that dialectics, and I mean, it's easy to manipulate the 80%, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's be honest, with these magicians, they know exactly how to manipulate everyone to get the exact results that they want.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hand the job off as, they do a signature reduction, get guys like, Elisha Schaefer, whoever, get guys like that who are collecting those DOD checks, I betcha. And then, acting like they're just civilians. But it's all a big game, and then it's like it's literally, it's always funny because people always ask me like, well, why are you always into this stuff? I'm like, cool. You know what? There's nothing that's been done on this planet with my name that I have to hold guilt for because I don't give them permission for anything. Now, when you just sit back and you just rely and you allow them to go over to like Iraq or whatever in your name. What's your karmic attribution on that, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So again, it's always better to ask questions first than to ask for forgiveness after.
Yeah.
Anyways, you seem like you're as tired as I am, so.
I've been up since like 6 a.m.
Yeah, I've been up way too long and just other shit, but you know. Anyways, Hotep Bill.
Hotep and Bill. See you tomorrow. Shout out to Jonah. Jonah sent me some interesting links. It's in a Grift bag somewhere. And I might show that to you later on this week. I don't know. Maybe. I want to get to the nitty gritty today and really just sort of break some of that stuff down. Retro Neon, he said, I bought your book, The Patriot Report. I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat has bought it too, but if you haven't, I recommend doing so.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Let me know how you like it. Yeah, sometimes I make weird voices. I'm a little weird. Gas done went up 30 to 40 cents in a week. Yeah, Janet yelling out here, copping please, lying to people. HJ, I hope you find a job soon. Have you been filling out any applications? Are you even trying? Oh, man. I got to get better. I should probably go get a job this week, right? I should probably go fill out some applications. Exactly what I should do. Oh, man. Somebody said wait till 17.1. Then you got to wait a week for 17.1 to make sure 17.1 don't break your phone. K Green said, I looked and it wants me to update 17. Yeah, I mean, actually, go ahead and download it so you can tell us if it works or not. Tell us if it breaks your phone. Can you be the scapegoat test dummy for us? Rudy, on Friday, what you said, I felt that, and I seconded it. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Did J.A. ever tell me how to say her name? Where is it? Where is she? J like J? Oh, okay, so don't pronounce the A. Okay, just say J. Okay. That always bothers me. Hey, don't forget to take your Master Focus Brain Booster. Use coupon code Grift Report. Link in the description box below works as well. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode of the Grift Report. Hotep and Bill.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How am I supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in.
How'd you get that done so quick? They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there. You understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
He's not tapped in.